because of the rearrangement, yeah. Well, oh, I guess it would screw up the voting if you did, but I was gonna say otherwise.
The voting is set up the way these badges are. I'll just take a shower next time.
All set, Jackie? All right, okay. At this time, I'll call the meeting of the Oroville City Planning Commission to order. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Sears?
Here.
Commissioner Britton? Commissioner Chapman?
Here.
Commissioner Jenkins?
Here.
Commissioner Flicker?
Here.
Vice Chair Durling?
Here.
Chair Robison?
Here. At this time, if everyone will join me and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you seated? Okay, at this time, I'll give the instructions to individuals who wish to speak. If you're going to speak on an item that's on the agenda, and I'm going to have a little announcement about that in a second, please fill out a blue card. I've got a stack of them right here already. Hand it to the clerk. Before I go on to the item, the very first item is public comments, which is a time period for people to speak to the Planning Commission on an item that pertains to the Planning Commission but is not on the agenda. I'm going to make an announcement that due to some noticing problems on the one item we have on tonight's agenda, because the last time it was removed from the agenda, not continued, so it had to be renoticed. Therefore, we will be continuing that item. And as such, there will not be a public hearing on it. Now, if there are people who, we've had public comment on the previous times that it was continued, and we will have public comment again to the meeting that it is continued to. But if somebody feels the absolute need to speak now, perhaps they're not going to be available to be at the next meeting, they can do so on the public comment, which would normally be relegated to non-agenda items. But I just want to make that announcement if anybody feels the need.
Which issue is that?
The one item we have on the agenda is the homeless shelter.
You're not going to accept comments on that?
We're not going to open the public hearing because it needs to be continued because it wasn't properly noticed. So at the next meeting that it will be continued to, there will be a public hearing on it. But tonight it will not be because we cannot hold a public hearing on it.
Do you guys prefer we spoke at the
It would be best if you're going to make the next meeting that you speak at the meeting that we're actually having the public hearing. We'll discuss that when we continue it, and you will be told the time.
You're not making any decision tonight
No.
about us? You promise?
You're going to be here. You're going to be here, so you'll see it if we do. But no, we will be continuing. But that being said, I am opening now for public comment for anyone who wishes to speak on an issue that pertains to Planning Commission that is not on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we will move on. Approval of minutes from the special meeting of June 6, 2019. Were there any additions or changes or comments on the minutes?
I just have one. Can you hear me now? Try this one. Okay, I'll speak up.
Here.
On the State Theater Marquee Restoration Project, Jim Mall was a public speaker, and I think his name should be in there.
My understanding he was the applicant.
Yeah, but I think his name should be acknowledged, because he really did more speaking than anybody.
The one comment I wanted to make is I want to make sure it was recorded that my absence was excused. I don't know if yours was or not.
We're at AWOL.
Were there any other changes or additions to the minutes? If not, I'll open for a motion.
Also move.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. There's a motion and a second. Please open the voting.
Oops, our voting machine isn't on. There it goes.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, voting is closed.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to public hearings. The one item we had was use permit for the emergency shelter, which I just commented on. I received notice from staff today that it was not properly noticed because they did not realize that it had not been continued last time. But since it hadn't been continued, it was pulled. It does need to be noticed again. So we need to continue this. We can't have a public hearing on it. So the only discussion is to when would it be ready? Would you guys be ready with the noticing be done and everything for a meeting in 2 weeks?
We,
Is that a yes?
is that July 11th? Yes, we can have it sent out tomorrow.
July when?
Does that work for the commission?
The meeting will
11th.
be when?
July 11th?
July 11th?
I won't be here.
Well, we need to have a quorum, so if people can't make it,
Let's see. I can make it.
okay.
I can make it.
There's 4 of us that should be able to make it, but you won't be able to, and Commissioner Jenkins, you're unsure? Are there any days that the 2 of you are? Well, if we have the meeting hall, we can do it on a different day.
We just gotta look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Make sure there's not another meeting.
Or what days would work for the entire commission? The 10th? And you're still in the same boat on that one, Commissioner Jenkins?
What's the suggestion?
For the 10th, the day before.
Yes.
That works for me.
Would that work for staff? Okay,
Yeah, just the scheduling. Do you have a calendar?
They do not have anything in this room on that day.
Okay. So with that, is there a motion or further discussion? If people prefer a different day, then speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, well, with that being said, is there a motion to continue it until the 10th?
Also move.
Okay, there's a motion to continue this item until the 10th, a special meeting on the 10th.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Please open the voting. Okay, is there anyone who wishes to change their vote? Seeing none, voting is closed.
Motion carries.
Okay, so that everyone's clear on that. This item is being continued until a special meeting on July 10th, which is a Wednesday. It'll be here in the council chambers. At 7 o'clock, yeah. Okay, moving on. I think this might be a record short meeting.
Well,
Oh, do you have a question?
I had some questions about the paperwork that we received that perhaps could be answered or resolved before we bring it back.
Got the,
The wording
If-
of one item, for example.
Yeah, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, on page 11, item F doesn't make sense. And because I don't understand it, I don't know how to wordsmith it. Otherwise, I would have offered an alternative way.
Let's see, that's.
The sentence
think I
reads,
have the
"The
same
critical
package."
homeless situation in the city and the number of homeless active in that area of the city in particular will provide needed services to the homeless population." And
Gotcha.
that doesn't make sense.
Like I said, the shelter, or it would provide, yeah, the shelter will provide food services.
I think this should say,
will create the need for these
No, I think
services?
the
or-
intended, to me, is in front of the word will, put the project will provide needed services to the homeless population.
Okay, so.
I think that was the intent.
critical-
Yeah, that does make more sense.
Yes, Commissioners, I
How
wrote
about starting the
that.
sentence with due to the critical homeless situation? That would make it even better. The project after particular. Okay, that works.
I think that
Yeah.
that is clear.
Did you get that?
Thank you, that clarifies.
That would
Okay.
help. Yes, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. No, that's good to have that clarification in there. Okay, so moving on to the next item, which was Director's Report, I believe.
Yes. Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission have very little to report, except to provide you with notice that there will be two items on the next city council meeting that eventually will come to this body for discussion and potential decision. And as soon as I find them, the first item will be asking the council's direction to update the sphere of influence of the city to include the lands west of Wilbur Road and south of Oro Dam Boulevard, which is that little finger of land way to the west, right up to the edge of the afterbay. So we will be asking to begin the process of changing the sphere in that area. We will also be asking to update the general plan and zoning maps to reflect the South Oroville annexation in 2015. That has not been completed yet. And lastly, we are asking the council to authorize staff to begin the annexation process for a subdivision known as Ruddy Creek, which this commission approved in 2007, but which needs to be annexed into the city, and that annexation was not completed at that time.
Refresh my memory of where that's located at?
The Ruddy Creek subdivision is on 18th Street
That's west.
and
Big.
Feather Boulevard,
Okay.
way west of the city and northwest of the airport.
Items 1 and 3 would have to go through LAFCO too, right?
Eventually, yes.
That's it for the report?
That's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just as also a side note on there, the council chambers are going through a remodel on the 16th through the 16th of July through the first meeting in August, and so we will not be, unless we move to another date, be having an additional meeting in July other than the one that's being continued.
Other than one we just scheduled?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, moving on to commission reports. Do any commissioners have reports from any subcommittees or anything they attended that were pertain to the planning commission? Seeing none? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, it's back in May. I attended the 2019 Planning Commissioner Training Workshop in Sacramento. It was okay. It's like I'm learning still, but, yeah. I did bring some information back, so if you're interested in, you had talked about, if you want me to bring any information back, then I can do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
No other items. We will adjourn to the special meeting on July 10th, Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I think there was some misunderstanding when you opened up.
Just go ahead and please come forward and speak at the.
I think some was confused as far as individuals having an opportunity to speak on this item. Some will not be here on the next meeting, and they wanted to speak tonight. But I think, with the language and the conversation that was going forth, they just got confused.
Okay, well, does the commission have, I'm glad you caught me before I adjourned. Does the commission have any problems with me going ahead and reopening the public comment period? Okay, at this time, so what we'll do is if there's anyone who is not going to be at the next meeting that the item we just continued, that wants to speak, because you won't have the opportunity at the next meeting, we're gonna give you the opportunity to go ahead and come forth and speak tonight. If you are gonna be at the next meeting, I would ask that you go ahead and hold your comments until then. But if you wish to speak and aren't going to be at the next meeting, we're gonna give this opportunity right now for anyone who wishes to do so. Was there anyone? Going once, going twice? Okay, thank you. So we will adjourn to July 10th, Wednesday at 7 PM. Thank you.